Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Set already. I'm Sabrina.
Ciao and benvenuto tutti. I'm Kevin. I just really felt like practicing my Italian today for no particular reason
No
whatsoever.
particular reason
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Wonder why.
Sorry I didn't prepare you for that. That was
No, it's all good. All good. Well,
yeah. I mean, we're recording this as an emergency podcast, I guess.
yeah.
Kind of breaking news. Something I don't think anybody saw coming.
No.
I have no idea where this came from, what happened, how it happened, but I guess that's what we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari.
I mean, I'm shocked. Well, first of all, let's just put it out there that I woke up to a text message saying, "Wake up,
Yeah,
check your Instagram," from Kevin,
yeah.
and that's what I saw this morning, and
That's
I'm
exactly what
I'm
happened.
still shocked.
Yeah, I'm reeling. I don't know. Like, I've got so many thoughts in my head. I don't know where to go next. But yeah, I woke up too, and I just randomly turned on Instagram, and it was like one post after another, one news outlet after the other. I'm like, this has got to be some kind of a joke,
Crazy.
and it wasn't. Yeah, yeah,
It's not a joke. As the day went on, it got like more and more serious. So,
yeah.
I mean, here we are, and there goes Lewis. Really.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Thankfully, because I mean, it was so boring. There was no moves. There still isn't technically any moves.
Right. For
And
this
then
year.
then Lando signs, Charles signs,
Charles signs
or
extend.
the other way
Yeah.
around, extend. They both
Yeah.
extend. And then this bombshell, and now it just throws everything up in the air. Even though nobody's moving, everybody's talking.
Nobody's moved. Yeah. It's been pretty. It's been a weird day. Like I think nobody knows how to react.
No.
So we were like, we need to get on podcast, emergency podcast, 4 days
Yeah.
into
So
our
you
podcast.
you get episode 1, and then right away a bonus.
Yeah.
But we still will be putting out episode 2 because they're pre-recorded
Yeah.
on Monday, just as scheduled.
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing is, for his move to Ferrari, why now?
I don't know. So I actually saw a tweet from Karun Chandok, sorry. And he was like, it doesn't make sense. But maybe it doesn't need to make sense. Maybe it's just where his heart wanted to go. And he's just wanting to try a challenge for the last couple years of his career.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
you think Formula One, you think Ferrari.
Yeah.
Regardless, like everybody wants to drive for Ferrari. It's an iconic thing.
Yeah.
You win a championship at Ferrari, you've just cemented your legacy. Like everybody will remember that championship.
Yeah.
It's where all the greats go. All the greats want to go, whether their time there is good or not.
Well, yeah.
That's where they want to go. So yeah, I can see the why, but I don't understand the why now. Like you haven't even started day one of your new contract,
Yeah. I mean,
and you're jumping ship.
well, and it's interesting because there was such lead up the whole time, like during this last season of like, is Lewis going to extend? How long is he going to extend? And then he did.
Yeah.
And then before the season started, he's already gone.
Well, he did, and he said, I'm happy to be here. I want to win another one. I want to end my career at Mercedes. So what happened? Was he in Brackley or at the Mercedes headquarters, and he just wasn't happy with the Sims? Was he not happy with the car? or
Maybe
the
he
direction
already
they're-
sees the car.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I did see some stuff from Sky Sports today saying that what did he see from Ferrari, but I don't think they would really show him much without a guarantee that he's coming over. They may
Right.
have plans,
Yeah.
and not only that, but he's coming in for 2025 for 1 year, and then it's new or engine regulations.
Yeah.
So where do those go? Right? There's just a whole nother uncertainty.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It's also like super awkward. Like the season hasn't started.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This is just really awkward right now. I mean, like the first thing that came to my head was how pissed is Toto? How pissed is Toto, the money he probably had to like get Mercedes to put out.
Well, I mean, he also put out money for himself to re-sign. I mean, he signed himself.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But he made a big deal of, I'm here to win
Yeah.
another. I'm going to beat the Red Bulls with Lewis.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not doing it this year, which you're not, especially if Lewis wants to get the hell out.
If he wants to leave already, there's something that he's seeing. I agree. There's something he's seeing that's not fitting for him. So interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about. I mean, we know Lewis and Charles are friends off the track. This driver pairing, I know you had messaged me earlier and said like automatically the best driver pairing.
2025, yeah, I think that's the best. Yeah, but
Like,
even if you shuffled everybody else up, where are you going to find a better than these two?
I mean, the two of them on paper are amazing, but what's it going to do to like their relationship? Which is kind of like an off-grid thing, but like I don't know.
Well, no, it's not really. I mean, that's the other thing, because obviously when Charles was signed for however many years it was, you thought, okay, this is it. He's Ferrari's number one.
Yeah.
It's in the bag. Carlos is there. He's going to be, quote unquote equal until he's not, but he'll be treated as equal until he leaves to go wherever else it's going to go. But now you got Lewis coming in. I mean, does Lewis automatically outperform him in a car?
And
does he get the preferential treatment?
Right.
He probably will.
But is Charles still their number one? And if he is Lewis okay being number two?
I think they're a 1-1. I think they'll be well, you know what I mean. I don't think there is going to be. I know nobody says that there's always a number one, but I think you look at it. I mean, Lewis is 39. He'll be 40 this year. I don't see him signing anything less than a 3-year, right? A 3-year deal probably.
Yeah, they just keep saying multi, right?
They haven't given term out yet. Not that I've seen as of this recording, but he's got 2025. He'll be there for 2026 for sure. I would assume he's going to be 2 years into that those new regulations, right? At that point, he's 42. Does he keep going? He wants to retire with Ferrari, probably, right?
Hop back over to Mercedes.
I don't think so. I mean, they take him, but I don't think so. I think maybe he's got, not that he's got 3 more years in him, but I don't see him signing anything less than 3 years. So is it a 1-1 for 3 years because they know they might have Charles for much longer, and they can't really ruin that relationship? Is that kind of the outlook?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, did Charles know? Did Carlos?
I'm sure he had.
Did anybody know?
Apparently, from what I've been hearing today, is that Carlos had maybe an inkling. There were no progression in contract talks. Okay. There wasn't a lot going on in that respect. So maybe he didn't know it was going to be Lewis that was taking over, but he knew that he wasn't. I think he knew that this was probably his last year at Ferrari.
Well,
possibly. I guess depending on what the signing was.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you say, you said before how pissed is Toto, I do have a surprise for you.
Oh no!
I was able to get a hold of some recordings, some voicemails, straight from a source that's very close to the two of them. Okay, I don't know where these were in their conversations to each other, Lewis and Toto, but I'll just let you judge for yourself.
I'm scared.
Lewis, the car is bad. We know. Please drive it.
Right. It sounds like he's just begging him to stay. And then there was a part 2 that I must have been in a later voicemail. I guess after he told him that he's leaving.
No, Lewis, no, Lewis, that was so not right.
I mean, things aren't good over there at Mercedes.
I mean, how did you get your hands on these voicemails?
I won't really reveal any of my sources. They're very close to my chest. I can't release them. But they're from a very credible source.
Well, I believe you.
Toto had a little bit of a frog in his voice. But it was interesting that he actually wasn't at Brackley today to help deliver this message. I mean, he did it off of his video conferencing call.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's in the middle of a renovation because he just put holes all through his home.
Honestly, poor Susie Wolf. Gosh, she's like, we just finished this house.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's really. I mean, what is Toto thinking? And like, who do they bring in? I mean, they'll probably watch the grid for this 2024, but like they also have, and you're gonna laugh at this, but they have Mick. Like
They do have Mick. Yeah. Listen,
they still have Mick.
I thought through a lot of scenarios, and he was one of them. I don't believe it's a realistic scenario.
not
Not
yet.
with what else is on the grid, right?
No.
I mean, it's 2025, and as we know, there's a lot of changes in 2024, which I will have to put out a disclaimer for our prediction episode, which we've also already
Yeah.
recorded.
And we're not doing
and this
well.
throws things. No, this throws things way in the mix.
Yeah.
Out of mix. Sorry.
Even Lando's extension messed up our prediction.
So that's the interesting thing that I actually did hear about, right? So the thing was that, maybe the confusing part about Lando's extension was why at the beginning of the year, right? I know Lando's been wanting to sign, but why would Zach Brown do it now? Right?
Yeah.
So maybe there were rumblings throughout their community that this was a possibility, right? That this is, Lewis has been meeting with them. This is possible. And if Lewis jumps ship to Ferrari, well, that leaves an open seat in Mercedes, right? That makes kind of sense.
So they were like
that
locking him
what-
down.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how much the drivers knew outside of the Ferrari pair,
Right.
and obviously Lewis, but maybe that the team principals and the execs up higher knew that something was coming down or was close to a deal.
Yeah, I'm still shook. I mean, there was also all this talk about Albon taking on the Ferrari seat after Carlos left, which we thought would have been
That was
2025.
Well, because we thought Lewis was locked up, and we didn't think it was gonna happen until at least until 2026.
Yeah. So I mean, does Mercedes now say, okay, well, you guys were interested in Albon. Maybe we need to look at Albon and see if he needs to go over there. He's in a Williams, which has close relations with Mercedes. So, I mean, maybe we see that. But I kind of thought with everything, we would wait till the season started and see how the cars are. But
now I think you'll see it, somewhere just before or just after the summer break.
Yeah.
They'll have a driver lined up for that.
Yeah.
Whether that's, to me, it makes the most sense for me. I would think Albon.
Yeah.
You've heard Alonso's name floated out there. I mean, this guy's going to race till he's 92 years old. I mean, if he can still race like he's racing now,
why not?
Why the hell not? Yeah.
Why not? I think every driver is going to be like driving for their life, especially people on midfield and lower teams. They're going to be driving the wheels off their car if there's already no speculation already or rumblings in the paddock, which doesn't exist yet. But
could they take Perez and just try to piss off Christian Horner? I mean, I'm pretty sure Christian Horner is ready to be rid of Perez. But if they can put him in a car that can be competitive,
I mean,
do they bring Latifi back, the GOAT?
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I don't think so.
Come on.
They have the budget for it. I mean, a couple of years ago, we know that Toto apparently said that Checo told him that the car was bad. Resulting in the whole change of fucking car. So maybe Checo and Toto have a relationship that none of us know about.
Maybe. I doubt it, but
He's heading over there.
Yeah.
The other thing. Oh, go ahead.
Go.
The other thing that I kind of thought about was Ferrari has taken this big leap over the last 2-ish years. I think when they got Carlos as well, and they're social media junkies. They, play all the games. They're doing all the fun activities with Carlos and Charles. Lewis doesn't usually do that stuff.
No.
So is he going to do it? Does Charles lose his buddy? Are they going to force Lewis to do it? I mean,
I don't think you force Lewis to do anything. It's just you don't see him usually doing those. You're right. He doesn't really.
He doesn't participate in that stuff. And I mean,
No,
some
not
of them
really.
are cheesy little games, but like they're kind of funny. But yeah, it's gonna be a whole change up. I think we're gonna see the change this year already.
Well, maybe also because, I mean, his teammate was George. I mean, you don't really see him being like the silly kind of, And the other one was Bottas, and I don't think they really got along by the end of it. So
No.
Lewis wasn't planning on getting naked in a sauna with him, and
No. Awkward. But I mean, awkward.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, I mean, it makes more sense that Albon would take that seat.
Yeah. I agree.
I did hear Ocon floated around because he's also part of that Mercedes program. Alpine seems to be terrible just before they've even started this year. They failed their front end crashes. They failed their side crashes. They don't know if they're going to be ready for their launch. They seem to have taken a step back. So who knows? And
Yeah.
I think
It's strange, and I mean, like, Lewis is who Lewis is. He is the best, or one of the best, however you want to look at it. I think it's going to take a lot for people to like settle with this. Like, people really we only know him at Mercedes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a change. And I mean, also weird, and I think we talked about it on one of our episodes that we've recorded already. He's kind of had a weird couple years of complaining a lot, and
well, I think it comes down to he hasn't won a race in 2 years.
Yeah.
And apparently he doesn't see himself winning another race with Mercedes.
Which is kind of telling, I would think.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder how much input they're going to take come 2025 building the Ferrari car. How much input they're going to take from him? Because right now, we know Charles has a lot of input. The rumor was that it was supposed to be 50-50 this year between Charles and Carlos. Whether it actually did do that, we don't know. But I'd also be kind of pissed if I helped build a car and then you're like, we're going to use that with the other guy next year.
And how much do they tell Lewis this year when it's in the Mercedes car what they're doing? Like, are they just going to leave him out on an island by himself? I think he'll have a lot of input with Ferrari.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not? You're paying the guy a ton of money. You want to keep him.
Yeah.
He's the biggest name today. He's the biggest name in the world.
Yeah.
Definitely in sport. Which, I mean, good on him for a season where it was all about Max and all about all he had to do was just one day and he was back on top of the world. A big FU to the whole Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift thing. He is now the biggest thing in sport.
Perfect.
Around the world.
Around the world. I mean, it's honestly crazy. Do you think he can win a championship with Ferrari? He can win I can see him winning races.
Well, without spoiling too much in our prediction show, I do think he can. Right?
Really?
I think all the reports out of Ferrari, even Carlos Sainz, before he realized he wasn't getting signed, were that everything looks good in the sim. The reports are that this car is 7/10 faster than it was last year. That's a huge gap. They're already the fastest car in qualifying most weekends. Right? Add that 7/10.
Yeah.
Well, most weekend, but there wasn't many. They were always there. If they weren't 1 and 2, they were 2 and 3 or 1 and 3.
They were up there.
If they were on it, they were great. So add that on. They'll be on pole. They should be on pole all season. If they can transfer that to the engine regulations in 2026, in 2026. But Lewis is going to be there in 2025. So I think there's a chance. Maybe not in the first season. They still got a little bit getting used to that car. And then it'll be a level playing field in 2026. So, I think he can. I 100%. As long as they can keep that race pace in 2025.
Yeah.
And this year, I 100% think he can win that 8th, which is just going to stick that knife even deeper into Mercedes.
Yeah. Like, that's when we'll see Toto, go nuts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
absolutely nuts.
Yeah, he's gonna destroy that paddock.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, it's
Just
just
go
going to
full
be.
Terminator.
Yeah, and I'm even curious. Like, is Lewis? And again, we have a whole year of racing before we even have to. Again, we haven't started racing, but we've got a whole year of racing before we get there. But it's going to be interesting to see if his attitude has changed. He's been a bit of a baby the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Is he
This
gonna
year's been better than
last? Yeah.
this year. This year's been better than
last.
last. Yeah, I think he'll race. I think he'll just kind of be resigned to the fact that, hey, this year is what it is. I'll see you guys on the other side next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, we're not going to see him. Like, this year's going to stay all the same. But I think the focus this year is going to be, one, how Lewis drives. You're right. And two, how does the Ferrari perform?
Yeah.
And there's going to be that speculation. How close is that gap with Carlos and Charles to the Red Bulls? And can Lewis translate that into, because if the Red Bulls and the Ferraris are fighting for podiums, they're fighting for first every weekend, you throw Lewis Hamilton in there, and it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, another thing, and this is all what ifs, but like, what if we see a year where 2024, Lewis is winning in that Mercedes, or Carlos is doing real well in that Ferrari? Like, I mean, contracts are contracts, but it's just like.
Well, I mean, contracts are made to be broken, apparently.
Well, apparently.
I don't think it matters, really. I think Lewis has come to the realization that Mercedes isn't going to be ready. It to me, it's very telling, because I don't think he would know much about the Ferrari car yet. So to me, it's very telling about where Mercedes is at right now in the development for 2024, and that it's just not there.
It's
not there to finish second again, but.
So, do you think? I mean, again, everything's up in the air. But do you think Mercedes is continuing with Lewis as number one this season, or has Lewis dropped at Mercedes to being number two? I mean, George was kind of number one for a lot of this past year.
Well,
but
that's the thing. I think it was more so like who was just best on that day, and they just picked that one.
Yeah.
I think you'll see that again this year. Again, they'll focus. Who knows?
It's hard to say.
Could they just put everything, all bullshit aside, and focus on Lewis and try to get him an 8th title for this year? Possibly. But once the Red Bulls start beating everybody in the first 6-7 races, is there really a point to it anymore? Probably not. I think they just go. I think it's going to be status quo. I think it's going to be the same. I think they're all professionals. I think they're just going to, from what I've heard today, Lewis still has a great, after the announcement, he still has a great relationship with his mechanics and his crew. I think he took them all out for paintball. That was the report. So they all had like a chat or whatever. Anyway.
So
that was the report.
Like,
maybe just stood in the middle and said, have at it.
Sorry, guys.
But I think they'll be professional. I think they'll still want to win. I think his pit crew will also still want to win at all costs. I think they'll just probably keep it about the same as last year. Whoever's better on that day, whoever's got the better strategy, whoever was the quickest qualifying, best chance to win. I think they'll be more focused on the constructors than they would on the drivers.
Individual drivers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see. And hey, here we are on a, what day is it? Thursday night.
It is a Thursday. Yeah.
Doing an
and
emergency
and everybody's forgotten that. I mean, this is February 1st. Everybody's forgotten that Haas reveals their car tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow already? Jeez.
It's the 2nd, yeah.
Well, nobody
cares.
No. I mean, there's Andretti that got rejected, which happened yesterday.
I don't think that was much of a surprise.
No, but it just kind of, this just took over everything. So
yeah.
Here we are.
Again, biggest name in sport. I mean, he put himself right there on the top again with he didn't even say anything.
No, he didn't.
With just speculation.
He didn't.
And that's how big he is. Apparently, he's also raised Ferrari's market cap by 7 billion just from the reports that he had signed. They went from 62 billion today to 69 billion, something like that.
Well,
$7 billion increase just with his name.
I wish I could have some of that.
Just a little bit of that, yeah.
Just $1 million and a 10, 5.
Just give me 10 grand. I don't care.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's all I had. I mean, my mind's everywhere. I've got a
me
lot
too.
going on. I don't even know how to organize the thoughts that are going in my head right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
Anyways,
just wanted to have a quick emergency. We just felt like we had to talk about it.
well, we've been talking about it all day anyways. Actually, we didn't. We stopped ourselves. We're like, let's
Yeah.
just save it for the pod.
It was a quick decision this morning, and we're like, okay, don't say anything else.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, so everybody, just hope you enjoyed this. Our next episode will be coming out on Monday, whatever day that is, the 5th, February 5th.
yes.
So go wherever you can get your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube. Like, subscribe,
Rate us on
follow,
Spotify.
rate us. Yeah, rate us. Always 5 stars or thumbs up or whatever you got. And yeah, and just keep it locked in for the next one.
All right.
All right,
See you
have a fresh
guys.
set and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.